My name is Ashley Armstrong, and I am the manager here at Nourish Cooperative. We partner with a number of small-scale farms that practice regenerative agriculture practices to grow a wide variety of really nutrient-dense foods like sourdough, raw cheeses, raw milk, beef, chicken, pork. Raw dairy is illegal to ship across state lines for human consumption. All of our products are labeled for pets, pet food. We submitted I think it's called like a pet feed license in Michigan. We submitted that earlier this year. $100 check that was cashed. Application was submitted, didn't hear anything. Fast forward to April, the bird flu came. The state of Michigan came out saying like, we are gonna lead the way in testing, documenting, licensing, monitoring, and making sure that we're doing our part in stopping the spread of bird flu. On May 28th, they came. It was not a routine inspection. It was like there was a purpose, and they had a cease and desist already printed out with them. There was 4 government officials, 2 dairy inspectors, even though we're not a dairy, a human food inspector and a pet food inspector. They came in and flagged everything that they had a problem with. The raw dairy, so raw milk, raw butter, rather than trying to like explain why, instead they just put it under seizure. Their interpretation of the Michigan food laws says that it's illegal to sell raw dairy for pets. There's no statute that says that. That is their interpretation. For the raw dairy products, they gave us 3 options. We could return them back to all of our farm partners in Indiana. Our farm partners didn't want old raw dairy products. We could let it sit in the freezers or fridges, just sitting there, or we could destroy. Those were the 3 options that we had. We could not consume it ourselves, even though there's nothing wrong with it. We could not give it to our animals, and we could not donate it to all of the millions of people that are in need of food. So they had to be destroyed. I think that a big piece of information that the government kind of misses here is high quality raw milk is produced in the safest, most sanitary conditions possible. And that's from every part of the production process. When you buy milk from the store, oftentimes that comes from tanks all around the country brought to a single like pasteurization plant. For raw dairy, that is a single point tapping of the milk. On top of that, all of our farm partners test their milk every week or every other week. And then every 2 months, each individual animal is tested. In confinement milk, you've got the animals are eating GMO corn and soy. There's a ton of pesticides sprayed on those GMO corn and soy that show up in the milk product. And then in the confinement operation, you got to spray something to keep the fly population down and the bug. So insecticides are sprayed, various like medications are used for the animals. Now, I mean, with the bird flu, they're talking about mRNA vaccine for the cows. That's going to show up in the milk that you consume. It's just comical to compare the two. Talk about a superior product all across the board, and it's being demonized. You have to wonder if there is some sort of reason for that.
Okay, does that not upset everybody? How can they do that? It's just milk. We're going to get into why it's just milk. These guys are not your enemy. They're your friend. They turn that green stuff into the best liquid food you can eat. Arguably the best food you can eat. So not only do they make a liquid that you can drink, but they also create meat and organs for us to eat that are top notch. Like the best. So, this is dear to my heart as a carnivore, obviously, but for humanity, this thing you see, which is a cow in a pasture, well, 4 of them, aren't they cool looking? They're awesome. They create health all around the globe for a very long time. So yes, they are absolutely going after the food supply. They even went after this guy right here. Amos Miller Organic Farm. It's famous now. It's been all over social media. This guy, you should support. Buy stuff from him. I'm going to. But yeah, if you know this story, went after him, caused all kinds of havoc for nothing. And I'm going to show you why in a second. We'll get there. Don't worry. They want you to believe that they care about your health. And yet, they are injecting now animals, feed animals, with mRNA vaccines. First of all, there's no mRNA in it. There is no such thing as mRNA. It's all just made up. See, when they say, look over here, but they put poisons in over here, that's how that's done. But notice this article. This is an International Journal of Vaccine Theory, Practice, and Research. Real-time self-assembly of stereomicroscopically visible artificial constructions in incubated specimens of mRNA products, mainly from Pfizer and Moderna. Okay. This, for those of you listening audio, you have to go see this. I'm going to show you some crazy photos. All right, let's skip down because this is all boring right here. Oh, what do we have? Here's Pfizer. Here's the incubation. Does any of this look normal and would be in an injection at all? Don't worry. It gets worse. Here's what happens when you have an initial blood sample, and then this is what happens when the blood, using its, you call it the immune system, those of us in the train theory call it a way to mediate the problem. That's what your blood does to get rid of it quickly. Okay. Now, we know there's a lot of things in these injections, but I'm going to show you photos, as you're seeing right now, that are mind-blowing. This is in there. And notice, this is nanoscale. What is any of that? Does that look like it belongs in something that you want to inject under your skin? What is that? It's like a balloon with braided cord, or I don't know what that is. Are these glass particles? What is this shape? And what are these filaments? And how does it make a circle? I'm telling you, you have to go to the video to see this. And then, what in the world? Who put a slinky in nano size into an injection and put it into people? Is that not a spring? That's a slinky. Why is it in there? What is it? And is that naturally occurring? I don't think so. Matter of fact, I know so. See? More of them. What is all this stuff? Sorry about that. I needed to make the pointer bigger so people can see, but that's not normal. Why is it even there? You could read this whole thing. It's really big, but oh my gosh, what is that? Why is that in there? And what the heck is that? I'm not going to say what it looks like. I think most of you might know it starts with a P. But really? And then what is this? Does that not look alien to you? I mean, why is this in an injection to go into a cow? Cows don't need any of this. Neither do we. And you can't tell me that this is naturally occurring and supposed to be in something that was made in a multi-million-dollar facility with ultra consistent, reliable, specific tolerances for debris and cleanliness and purification and everything else that would go along with making something like this. That's not a normal thing to put into anybody. I don't know what that is, but that ribbon, for those audio, it looks like ribbon that you have on your Christmas presents. How is that even possible? Who made that? And then here's more of these crystalline, weird, flat stuff. But if this one doesn't stand out to you, you're telling me this is normal? That's not normal. None of that is normal. I don't care who you are. That is not normal. But they say it's important to be in the food you eat because there might be a bird flu or something else. Wrong. You could go through and look at all this. It's incredible. I don't know what else to say, but let's move on because there's time. Okay. These guys don't need anything except clean grass. Don't spray it. Don't do anything. Just leave it alone. These creatures are designed to eat that green stuff, turn it into awesome nutrition for us, good food to nourish us. And then we go and screw it up. I'm serious. I know these last couple of episodes gets me all fired up, but this is what you're eating. And if you think you're getting food from, let's say, big companies, stores that you can think of, and you go, oh, that's a good price for beef. It's not this. It's not. It's the stuff you don't want to eat. So eat this. Eric, it's expensive. Well, eat less because this is more nourishing. You don't need as much. Anyway, these guys are not your enemy. I mean, they're awesome. They taste good. They do amazing things for you. They can heal you. And the liquid they produce is absolutely amazing. So what do? We do this. We decide to spray everything we eat in agriculture with chemicals. Well, you don't need all this stuff. There are people all around the world that farm, raise animals, and never spray anything. And the last I looked, they're healthy. They don't die early. They barely even have names for diseases or symptoms or anything else. And yet, look at us in the first world. We're absolutely unhealthy because this is what we do to our food. You don't need to do any of this. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't produce more yield because the yield that it does produce is barely nutritious and it's toxic. And then, all right, I'll calm down. I got you. Don't worry. Let's move on. Of course, they want to control the food. Here's what Henry Kissinger said. If you control the food, you control a nation. If you control the energy, you control a region. If you control the money, you control the world. Notice it started with food first. And then we had modern agriculture, brought to you by big corporations like Big Ag. Big Ag does not care about you. So if you've never heard about a campaign for real milk, this is part of the Weston A. Price Foundation. It's run by Sally Fallon, one of my personal heroes. So there are two different types of milk. So when you hear about how raw milk is bad for you, or it can have listeria or all these weird things, it's not true. It's so small that real raw milk has any of these. They don't tell you this. They just use the full terminology of raw milk. Well, there are two different types, and one is nasty. Let's show you. You have milk produced for direct consumption. So this is, a local person that has dairy cows. And they milk the cow, and you go there and you buy it. I mean, it's ready to go, right? You can drink it right out of the cow. Then you have raw milk produced for pasteurization. So what's the difference? Well, the diet base, first of all, the milk for consumption, and then I will reverse it to the pasteurization. The diet is better for direct. The diet for pasteurization, terrible. They eat everything that you wouldn't want to eat yourself. And we're going to do an episode in the future on this, so you understand what I don't want to give away too much because it's crazy, but they feed things to your dairy cows that you would never, ever believe. Never believe. And then when you go to the store and you buy this and you're like, man, it's $6 a gallon for milk. Well, maybe don't buy it. It's not good for you. There's nothing nutritious, and It's animal torture. Moving on. Their living environment. So, mostly on pasture, mostly confined. Additional intervention. That would be things like antibiotics and, mRNA and all this kind of stuff. Rarely used compared to bovine growth hormones and antibiotics, and I guarantee there's more than that. The lifespan, 12 years compared to 3.5 years. So if modern commercial dairy production, they only live 3.5 years compared to 12 plus. If you do the same things to yourself that cows do, we do to cows, you can see how you're not going to be healthy either. That's getting antibiotics, eating a poor diet, not getting out in the sun, not getting in the pasture, not touching the earth, etc., etc. Nutritional quality. 5 to 6 times more CLA, higher vitamin content, and they actually create vitamin D from the sun in their products, from milk to meat and that kind of thing, that we get to ingest. And it's real. It is a food-based, real, not a chemical made in a factory. And they have nothing but minimal CLA. That's conjugated linoleic acid. It's phenomenal for your body. And if you want to lose weight, that helps you. Farmer's family consumes the milk. Yes. Do they consume what the commercial? Nope, they don't do what the commercial does. Consumer willing to pay a premium price? Yes, for the good stuff. No, you're complaining that, everybody, I'm not just saying you, everybody complains, milk's too high. Are you kidding me? For what you're getting? Do you know what the farmers that grow this stuff or make this stuff, do you know what they make? It's like 25 or 35 cents a gallon. That's it. And it's been like that for, I think it's 50 years or so. They don't make any money. Anyway, this is great information. This site will blow your mind. You can read all about it. Remember, I said there's 2 different types of milk. And then there's non-pasteurized and pasteurized. So, real farmed milk that it's grass-fed, super clean, taking care of the animals properly, you're going to get really good milk. And by the way, you can digest it, and you won't have issues if you have, the lactose fun thing when you get some lactose, for those of us who are lactose intolerant. Well, you're lactose intolerant because you're getting pasteurized milk. Most people can't digest pasteurized milk, and if they do, I'm going to show you it's not good. Okay. Top benefits. Notice enzymes, probiotics, healthy fats, proteins, vitamins, and calcium, to name a few. There's many more things in raw milk. So here we have cow and breast milk. And all of those things are active. And as soon as you get into pasteurized, they're either destroyed, inhibited, or altered. Every one of them. Pastured cow milk, A2, goat milk, and then those aren't milks. Coconut and nut milks and grains and plants and soy milk. That's not milk. That's juice from a coconut or a nut or grains. It's not milk. You destroy, by pasteurization, all the benefits, and you're going to see, I'm going to show you some photos that are going to blow your mind. Ready? Here we go. Well, first, let's go one more. Let's just take that home one more time. Raw milk compared to other milks. Notice, beneficial enzymes, diverse probiotics, lactase-producing bacteria. That's how you get rid of the lactose. Healthy fats. AA is arachidonic acid, CLA conjugated linoleic acid, DHA and EPA you've heard 1,000 times. Proteins, bioavailable vitamins, bioavailable calcium, bioavailable phosphorus, and IgA and IgG immunoglobulins. Notice, in raw human milk, raw goat or cow milk, all of those are active because you haven't changed them. You haven't done anything to them. But as soon as you get into pasteurization, notice, inactive, destroyed, damaged, reduced, inhibited. They're done. There's no redeeming quality to pasteurized dairy. But Eric, I thought we got protein and calcium. Nope, not what you thought. This is Sally Fallon's site called Nourishing Traditions. It's amazing. Great information on this. By the way, just go to nourishingtraditions.com. You can read everything you want to know about all kinds of great healthy stuff. I don't have time to go into this. She refutes everything. You can't go wrong reading this and running your life by it. You think, well, they're not destroying our farms like the first video. They're not taking animals of all kinds that we eat for food and destroying them or anything. They're not destroying factories. They're not destroying farms. Nah, no one would ever do something like that. I mean, after all, it's our food. Well, guess what? This is happening all around the world. What you're seeing is many dead cattle. We're talking, I think these photos come from, is it like 2,500 or 3,500 of these cows were killed on purpose overnight. Well, in the FB, stands for farmbureau.org. This is the agricultural, whatever it's called. Anyway, new agricultural census data released by USDA today is cause for concern as the number of farms operating in the United States and the number of farms acres have both fallen significantly. The 2002 Census of Agriculture reports 141,733 fewer farms in 2022 than in 2017. The number of farm acres fell to 880 million, a loss of more than 20 million acres from just 5 years earlier. You know, if you don't have food, you don't eat. I don't know how to make it more apparent that there's a war on for food, and the powers that be are destroying all of it. And we're trying to be healthy. If you're part of this channel and you've been listening, you know I try and give you the best info I can give you. Well, this is the background. How are you supposed to know what to buy and consume that's organic and healthy and, you know, all the things that you require from your supplements and your food and your water and beverages and exercise, everything? It starts with your diet. And they don't care. They're destroying them on purpose. Don't believe me? Here's a list of 2002. So these purple dots are each farm that was destroyed by, quote, accident. And then if it was found to be infected, they culled everything. So you can go right to this. You can see it right here on the site. So let's just click number 79 in my state. 35,100 turkeys destroyed. Oh, why? When was the last time you heard there was a problem with turkeys? I mean, they've only been around for a really long time. Anyway, you can click around this thing and see why they did all of what they did. So we wonder, well, you know, it can't just be farms destroyed and this kind of thing. Maybe it's people like, you know who? Bill Gates. Why is he buying up farmland? Why does he care about farmland? To the tune of 270,000 acres. He's the largest landowner now. Oh, Eric, that is a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. These are county records. This is fact. What's he planning on doing with it? Is he planning on putting in these guys? And like totally organic and, you know, no pesticides and no GMO? Oh, no. He's not about non-GMO and organic and healthy. He's trying to manipulate the world. So this is what we're fighting against. So if you're anywhere in the United States with a farm and he's encroaching on you, oh, don't get me started. All right. This Raw Milk Institute, awesome site. You're going to learn so much if you go here. They call it the Letter to Medical Professionals About Raw Milk. This is one that you can download yourself, give it to your doctor, give it to anybody else, right? You can download it and give it to anybody. And it shows proof of how raw milk is healthy. I want to read all this to you so bad you don't even know. But for sake of time, I want to go down to Healthy Benefits of Raw Milk. From 1893 to 1999. See if I can highlight that. Oh, here we go. The American Association of Medical Milk Commissions. What? There was a milk commission? Medical? Certified clean, raw, fresh, safe, beautiful, amazing, tasty for human consumption and even medical therapeutic use. This certified raw milk was recognized to be of therapeutic benefit for infants, children, and adults. This milk was used effectively in hospitals around the United States and was used to treat a wide variety of chronic diseases, including cardiovascular disease, renal disease, liver disease, hypertension, edema, asthma, arthritis, tuberculosis, and diabetes. And I'm sure there's probably more. Isn't that amazing? Wait a minute. So you go to a hospital and they give you raw milk and you got better. What do you get now when you go to the hospital? So there's a lot of things in here that I really want to talk about. Trust me. There's lots of proof. This site is full of all that kind of stuff. But we have to move on. So again, a campaign for raw milk. Vitamins and minerals. These are the readily available nutrients in raw milk. This is super cool. Okay? Vitamin C. Raw milk, but not pasteurized, can resolve scurvy. Without doubt, the explosive increase in infantile scurvy during the latter part of the 19th century coincided with the advent of use of heated milks. That's pasteurization. You see? This is when people say, oh, back then they used vaccines or they used this or this medicine and it healed stuff. No, it's related to other things. I've done episodes on this. Calcium from raw milk, longer and denser bones. That's pretty cool. So you're taller and you're stronger. Folate, a B vitamin. B12, B6, A, D, iron, minerals, and B2. This is only a partial list. Milk is loaded with so many things. Look here. Milk fats, best fats you can get. Milk proteins, best proteins you can get. Carbohydrates, the best amount of sugar that you can get in raw milk is the way to go. So if you don't want carbohydrates in your diet and you don't mind getting a little bit, raw milk's the way. Minerals, enzymes, beneficial bacteria. If this was not a good food, then mammal moms wouldn't make it and grow you and everybody else. You can use it afterwards. There's no law that says that you can't drink milk after you've weaned from your mother's breast. But Eric, animals don't do it once they wean. That's because there's things like grass and other things for them to eat. They don't need to. We can eat whatever we want. And by the way, think about what you eat. You don't wean from your mother's breast and go outside and start eating grass, do you? Where do you find your food? If you lived by yourself with no other means, are you out planting some root that you have no idea what it is? You just decide, hey, that looks pretty cool. I'm just going to figure out how to grow that. Well, by the time you figure that out, you're dead. So you're not growing carrots for life. That came way later. You ate what you had around you. You ate what animals produced. You ate the animals and realized, wow, I feel good. So I could go real deep into all that kind of why we eat what we eat and all of this, but I'm trying to keep this to they're destroying our food supply on purpose. They hate the fact that you can have real milk, which is raw. They hate the fact that you can eat healthy foods. They want everything artificial. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. So here's a way for you to find your raw milk. When you go to rawmilk.com, there is the raw milk finder. And by the way, that graphic right there, there's a lot of places making raw milk around where you live. You may have to travel a little bit, but at least it's there. Fantastic website. By the way, it is legal in certain circumstances in all 50 states that you can consume raw dairy. 10 years ago, that was not the case. I want to point something out real quick. Oh, and by the way, the best information for raw milk is on this website. See how it says action alert, planned shutdown of raw milk farmers? FDA is urging states to stop the sale of raw milk, claiming risk from bird flu. Again, no such thing. I just did an episode on that. So, bird flu in raw milk? Sally Fallon reveals the lies underlying the latest attack on raw milk. They will just say, yep, we found it. Did you get to go to the lab and watch them test for something that doesn't exist? Nope. They just come back and say, you're shut down. We found bird flu. They say we found listeria. They say all this kind of stuff. And many, many times, this is for all brands that sell food. There's a recall on food. Did anyone ever get sick? Nope. We found it. What did you find? So if you found stuff but nobody got sick, then what are you worried about? You see? They play these games. My whole point is they want to take healthy food away from you. This is one more way. They want to replace it with fake food, if you even get food. They want you to eat bugs. You've heard it all. By consuming these kinds of things, by consuming foods you know are healthy, that are not sprayed, that are not GMO, you create a message to the powers that be that, no, we're going to eat healthy, and you're just going to have to deal with it. Do you know who the number one person that shuts down dairy, raw dairy, that's healthy? That would be Big Ag. The Dairy Council does not want you to consume raw dairy. They don't. It's a fact. Oh, and by the way, let me show you some photos of what pasteurization does to milk before we go. Okay, so this is raw milk at 175 times magnified. Right? It looks like that. I mean, looks like a top-down photo, black and white, of like a forest, doesn't it? Well, this is what it looks like when it's pasteurized at 175 times. All those big fats turned into really tiny ones. And then, pasteurized and homogenized. Look at that. You can't even differentiate anything. And then you have ultra-pasteurized, UHT. You see? They're taking something large and breaking it down into super, super small little fat molecules. Fat cells, not really anything such as a cell. Fat globule, there you go. Here you go. Another representation. See how the more you homogenize and pasteurize, the smaller they get? This is all at 800 times. That's not healthy for your milk. Now we're deeper. Now we're 4,200 times magnified. That looks normal to me. This doesn't. Does it to you? I mean, they destroy the milk, the proteins, the fats, everything in it, which was a full, like it says here, it's a full matrix, a entity of everything in milk that comes together to make its own thing. That's how everything is. And in this case, they destroyed it. They took it from its thing and turned it into something else. That's not good. It's not healthy. Your body doesn't recognize it. It fights against it. And then when you do that and you kill all the healthiness of that, then the milk goes bad quickly. And so you take raw dairy from commercial farms, which is nasty, and of course they're going to find bacteria and things in it and say, nope, you can't eat or drink raw dairy products because they're full of bacteria and pathogens. Well, that's because they didn't come from a clean farm. They came from a commercial raised farm. You're not getting all this stuff from that local dairy farm that's got 25 cows that produce their own milk and they're really careful about what they do because they don't want to harm you. That's not what you're getting when you do the commercial raised stuff. So they apply the commercial raised issues to the small farms. That's the problem. Well, I hope these photos actually help you see that this is normal. This is not normal. This is beautiful. This is what you want. This is not what you want. This is bad for you. This is good for you. Don't let them take your food because they're going to take other things as well. You have to fight. You got to purchase things with your money properly. Buy good food, good water. Know where your food's coming from. And by the way, I will do, and I've been putting together an episode on where to buy food, how to buy food. So you don't have to go to the grocery store like you think. I mean, you're still going to go to the grocery store, but you're not going to go as much as you normally would. That way you can buy local, super healthy, fantastic, tasty. You're supporting local. You're getting healthy. You know where your food is coming from. Why would anybody not want that? Okay. That was long-winded. I'm sorry. I tried to make a 10, 12 minute and it's impossible with video. That's just the way it is. If you have a topic you want to learn about, let me know. Otherwise, take care of yourselves.